for maybe 15 minutes just about their provision and what their supported internship involves, and explain what internships are all about. Then we'll move on quickly to the Luminate group, to Jess, who's going to talk about Leeds City College offer. And then we've got a really interesting video to show you, which is a video of interns themselves who are actually doing supported internships. So you'll be able to hear from them and see them in their work environments, and you'll be able to hear what they think about their supported internship. And you'll also be able to hear from the employers themselves, and they'll be able to tell you a little bit about what they think and how they have used supported internships. And then we've got questions and answers. So we'll have time at the end to raise questions and to answer them. If you have questions, by all means, just put them into the chat function. You'll see the chat at the top of the screen there. Just click on that little button and type your questions up, and then we'll try and answer as many of them as we can at the end of the session. So, with no further ado, I will pass on to Lighthouse Futures Trust. I'm not sure whether Katie's going to be able to present or whether it's Adele.
So, I've got sound now. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I don't know what's happened before, technology, but we're working. So, hi, I'm Katie Parlett from Lighthouse Futures Trust, and I'm with my colleague here today, who's Head of Education, Adele Darlington. Adele's going to do a screen share and pull some slides up, and while she's doing that, I'd just like to let you all know that today is National Supported Internships Day. So throughout the country, there's been celebrations going on all over the place in colleges and employers. I think 100 young people went to the House of Commons on Monday and did some workshops with MPs. So it's been a big day for us all today. Hopefully we'll explain to you all about supported internships, and you'll see the huge impact they're making to young people across the country. Just while the slides are coming up, the government is putting an awful lot of money behind supported internships to try and double the amount of them that are delivered nationally, because they are one of the most impactful and positive programs for getting young people with SEND into paid employment. So yes, without much ado, here are the slides. Adele, will you move them on for me?
Yeah, I'm hoping everyone can see them.
Yeah, all good.
Perfect.
Yes, thumbs up, off we go. So the picture from young people, well, just young people and adults with learning disabilities and other disabilities moving into paid employment has not been great nationally, and it's been going in the wrong direction as well. So in 2017, 7% of those young people with autism or learning disabilities were in paid employment, and now it's 4.9. So don't know why it's been going south and not north, but we're all here doing something about it. Supported internships nationally have been getting 36% of young people into paid work, but the government have set new targets for 70%. And we at Lighthouse Futures Trust have been running them for 7 years now, really successfully. And even in lockdown, we got 93% into paid work. And the following year, 85% are now in paid work. So I think because we've been doing it for a long time, we've got really strong partnerships with a lot of employers across the city. So in essence, a supported internship, it is an educational program. So young people can be from 16 to 25 in their last year of education. We tend to do 18 to 24, but some 16, 17-year-olds are mature enough. But we tend to say that the sort of ideal age is 18, and they must have an education, health and care plan. There is a pilot going on at the moment for young people that don't have an education, health and care plan, but the government program normally requires one. They're looking for you to be they're looking for young people to spend 70% of their time at least on an employer's workplace. So 3 or 4 days a week is what we're delivering, and then 1 or 2 days at our college site in Headingley. And the requirements are that a young person will do a real role in an employer, and they'll have to comply with employer rules like workwear, timings of the day, etc. So it is a real work experience. It's not work experience, it's doing a real role, and it needs to head towards paid employment. So they don't always head towards paid employment in the host employer, but the intention has to be there at the beginning that an employer will look for opportunities for employment. So the other aspect about it is that they have trained job coaches from ourselves, Leeds City College, and those job coaches, I know our owner, trained in systematic instruction. But at this point, I'll hand over to Adele to talk about the wider curriculum around the actual doing the job in an employer's site. So Adele, do you want to just pick up here?
Thank you. So firstly, hello everybody. But as Katie said, a huge part of the programme is the placement, the real job role. And it is just that, it is a real job role. Our young people are seeing everything there is to see in that employer, but they are supported along the way by their specialist job coach, but also their trained workplace buddy, who at Lighthouse we train so that they can work effectively with our young people. But as well as the placement element or the job role element, we do a lot as well around that. So you'll notice from the other slide, it says that they're on site in the employer 3 or 4 days, or at least 3. But we also have them at college as well. So that's where we still upskill in maths and English. We do a lot of functional maths and English, so it links with the workplace. We work really closely with Lloyds, who we've developed and designed a whole curriculum around money management, budgeting, how to use digital services online, from things like looking at, remembering passwords, to going online to book a medical appointment, because it's all digital at the moment. We do a lot around health and wellbeing. We have a full wellbeing curriculum and a wellbeing counsellor, and the wellbeing curriculum is delivered right the way through the year, and that includes things around like personal safety, sleep hygiene, energy, resilience. There's a whole host of things that our young people kind of explore with the support of their job coaches and tutors. In addition to that, we do employability. We have a complete curriculum that runs right the way through all the programme. And for us, our young people do short employability sessions on site with their job coaches. And part of the reason for that is that they do them in the morning. They get kind of going in the morning with their job coach. And then what they do is they have a chance to put that into practice. So it's really embedding those kind of skills to develop further for the workplace. We do a lot around not just the skills they're going to build in that workplace, but for us, it's around building those skills that they can then move and transfer. And a lot of we also run pre-intern programs, and that really builds up for the supported internship as well. And it really puts the ownership of learning on that young person. So with as well as the skills in the employer placement, we also run a program called Be Your Own Boss. And that is actually run by some business leaders who work closely with our young people. And they're developing those skills wider. So teamwork, communication, respect, opinions. They run sessions like board meetings. They create amazing products, which I will show you at one point. But I'm sure Katie will like to talk a bit more about that. But it's amazing to see our young people develop their communication skills and also that social interaction and confidence. So everything we do is really tailored around that young person. And we also look at the social activities as well. We run a lot of social groups outside of college hours, but also across the city. So we have ex-interns, young people that just want to come for a social activity. And they vary on different places of where they go, but we work closely with establishments in Leeds city centre, because our young people want to go out. They want to go and feel confident and safe in Leeds. So we support them to do that as well. I'll move on. So the programme, Katie talked a little bit about the programme structure, and it is 1 year. It's seen as a last year of education, because really the next step would be to that paid employment, or whichever pathway that is right for that young person. It does follow an academic year, so we start in September. But prior to that, we have been working with our employers for either years or many months, onboarding them. So they know our interns, they know us, we've trained them, they are fully aware of the roles, and we carve the roles with the employers, but also then adapt them for our young people. Prior to our interns even going onto site, what we do is we hold employer events where our interns get to meet all the employers we're working with. And then we also create an amazing brochure, which the interns joining us in September have the full summer and before to look at that employer brochure and start to get an idea of what they might like to access or where they might like to visit. All through the summer, our job coaches will be getting to know our young people, and we do a lot of transition, but also contact right through, working with travel training as well, but also really kind of getting them to start thinking about the different job roles. In September, we do something called Inspiration Days. So that's where our young people can choose at least 3 employers to go and visit, and what they do on that day is they get to try out all those different job roles on offer. So it's really about that young person seeing what's out there, opening up opportunities, hearing job roles that probably half of us haven't even heard of, but getting to try that as well. And so what we then do is work with that young person, with the employer, and we all get together and we look at which role might be best placed for that person. The employer gets to know that young person more, and the young person gets to find out more about the employers. And there are inspiration days, which then really lead for the placement starting around October. It's not a straight into role. Our job coaches, as Katie said, they're trained in systematic instruction, and what they do is they already know the roles and they work closely with the employer and the buddies. And it's really about building the relationship between the buddy and the young person. And that takes some time. And for some people, that might be quicker. For others, it might take a little bit longer. But what every employer does is they ensure that there's a safe space or a base room in their site for our young people and job coach, and they take time to get to know each other and do a lot of induction, both at college site but also at the placement. Like any other new colleague, there might be training, there might be onboarding, and that's where our job coach really gets to know that young person, but also helps support that employer to support our young people. As we mentioned earlier, our job coaches, they are there every step of the way. So from way before the interns have even been on site, they already know the roles, they know the buddies, they know the managers in that employer. They really know the site, but they also really get to know our interns. And they are that key person that bridges employer to intern. At the beginning of the year, there's a lot of job coach support. So whenever that young person is on site, their job coach is on site with them. We tend to have 1 job coach to say 3 or 4 interns on an employer site. Where we've got more, we have more job coaches. But the idea is at the start of the year, you get to know your job coach, but also your job coach will be there to support you a lot. As you build in confidence and you get to know your role and you get to know your colleagues, gradually that job coach will kind of step away. So now, for example, our young people are very much independently doing their job roles because they know what they're doing, they're confident, they know the role, but they know the team. So our job coach is there still to support, but also there to kind of look for that next step or help with the employment and the next step as well. So Katie, I'm going to pass back to you. Is Katie there?
She's on mute.
That's me being silly, sorry. The employer plays a really important part in the success of the programme. First of all, they give us our base room where the young people go to at the beginning of the day, where they plan what they're going to do actually in their role, and they have some education around employability and some other skills in their base room. But it's also a safe space if a young person's feeling overwhelmed or just wants some time out, and it's a place where they can always find a job coach who's on site at all times. The employer does a lot of onboarding meetings and training with us before we get going. So we'll be working with an employer for 4 months before students come on board. And that means that all the employers are confident, ready to go, have decided on the job roles that they're offering, and are really feeling confident. We create a work buddy through the employer. We train them to a higher level, so they're really confident to work on a day-to-day basis in the department with each young person. And they follow through the year doing reviews. Like anybody would have appraisals in employment, the employer will get involved in that with the intern and the job coach. And it's really key for them because they help us find that employment at the end of the programme. So if they don't have any jobs themselves, they often help us with their network of employers, their supply chain, and we've got a support team as well that help with that. They absolutely love doing supported internships. It gives them access to a talent pool they wouldn't normally find. So there's some huge skills within our young people. They can't believe the commitment that the young people give. They're there every day smiling and enjoying and developing. Their own staff develop rapidly because if they're acting as a buddy, they're growing their own leadership skills themselves. But all the employers say the staff morale is really boosted in their own organisations working with our young people because they're so fantastic to be around. And they gain such a lot of insight into neurodiversity and neurodivergence. So that enables them to help existing staff that may not have come forward. So huge benefits to the employer. So Del, can you move us on? We thought it'd be useful just to give you a really quick snapshot of some of the roles that we've been doing this year. John Lewis, we've got, I think, at least 3 paid young people there. Actually, 1 got a job this week, 4, and we've got 5 interns. They work across the board from the place to eat on the 4th floor, various fashion floors, menswear in the dock with inward and outgoing parcels and managing the stock behind the scenes as well. So they're working on tills, they're working across the organisation. Adele, over to you on the NHS.
So we've worked with Leeds teaching hospitals now for 3 years. So we have, we've got at least 7 paid, paid employees right across both St James's Hospital, but also LGI as well. And we have a complete variety of roles. So we have people in pathology, we've got people in outpatients, we've got people in facilities. Last year, we had a young man that went all the way through training and now is a trained phlebotomist. It's an incredible opportunity, and there's over 500 different job roles in the NHS. So there's just no end to what our young people. We've got porters, we've got people who prefer more admin or more creative roles. And we also work with NHS SBS, which is Shared Business Services. So they're a separate organisation, but they work for the NHS, and they are very much more finance, accounting, do a lot of invoicing for all the hospitals. So again, very different roles, but very different skill sets. So it really enables us to kind of create as many opportunities, I suppose, as possible for our young people.
And at KPMG, they're a big professional services organisation, a very big glossy glass office. And our young people work in the post room, they work in catering, they work behind the scenes in business support. We've had people in tax roles there. So extremely supportive, and they've been working with us for 7 years now. Over to you, Adele.
And we've got
2
branching
minutes,
out.
Adele. 2 minutes.
Sorry?
2
2
minutes.
minutes. Okay, so branching out is very much an outdoor programme. So we work with Leeds City Council in green spaces. We also work with Caring for Life. And again, it's all outdoors. It's with horticulture, landscaping. So again, very different roles, but very amazing roles.
And Fortria is a new site for us. We work with Sodexo, who look after the whole site at Fortria. It's where they do pharmaceutical testing, and we have people in catering, security, data analysis, clinical roles, hospitality, right across the board. We've got 7 interns there at the moment, and they're all smashing it. Over to you quickly, Adele.
Arla, a lot of people know Arla Milk. So we have an amazing group of young people in the dairy, and basically when you see all that milk in the supermarkets, our young people have helped to get it there. So they are shifting, packing, loading up lorries, trucks, so very physical, but again, really good, totally different opportunity, but very suited to some of our young people.
HMRC, we've got 5 young people who are in paid tax roles now, and we've got an internship running there as well. And the exciting thing is the young people that are now in their first and second year of employment are actually the work buddies for the interns there. And so they're doing the same roles as everyone else, doing tax investigation and casework. So phenomenal organisation to work for.
I'm conscious of time, so I'm just skipping. But I think from what you can get from that is there's just an incredible range of opportunities, and we work with big employers because of that reason. It opens up so many different roles for our young people, but also because the employers work together and work with us, we can rotate our young people. So where they might start in one role, they might try and move into other roles as well, because really it's all about the young person finding out and developing their own skill set and really understanding what they enjoy, what they're good at, what they're interested in, and actually moving on confidently into paid employment and in employment they want to stay in.
Brilliant. Thank you very much indeed, Katie and Adele. Really appreciate it. I'm just going to, if you can stop sharing, I'll just share my screen again. Can you all see that? Yeah, good stuff. Okay, so our next speaker is Jess Rymill, who is going to talk to us from Leeds City College. They're the other second main supported internship provider in the city in Leeds. So over to you, Jess.
Thank you, Simon. Hi, everyone. So today, yes, I'll be talking about Leeds City College, but just a bit of overview about Luminate Education Group. So if you're not aware, Luminate Education Group actually consists of 3 main colleges. So that's Keighley, Leeds and Harrogate. So all 3 colleges do offer supported internships. But as mentioned today, I will be talking about Leeds City College's current supported internship programme. So our aim is to always make a positive difference to students' lives by nurturing and making quality learning experiences. We really respond to the training demands of our young people and really value their voice, as well as employers we work with to ensure students access the right course at the right time. And we really work closely with our SEND team to make sure that happens. Next slide, Simon. So today I'll be providing a bit of an overview of our supported internship programme, who's it for, and also just going to share some experiences from our current supported interns. So the internship, so it runs for 1 academic year. The work placement is unpaid, but obviously the goal is for successful learners to secure a paid job at the end of their supported internship. So once successful in gaining a place onto our programme, we individually meet with the learners to get a real understanding of their skills and career aspirations. So then we're able to job match them to the roles that we have available with a variety of organisations. This is just to ensure that the role that we do job match to them aligns with their aspirations for the future. So learners will spend 2 days in the workplace, so they'll be learning work-related skills and all supported by our job coaches, who will then mentor them through the workplace, but they will also have a mentor from the organisation as well. And this will give learners the direct link with the organisation, but also to have that go-to person when they're in the workplace. Learners will also have regular meetings with their mentor and their job coach, just like you would in paid employment, to review their progress and highlight what is going well and feedback that the mentor has. We encourage all learners on our supported internship programme to take part in team activities and staff development days to allow them to really integrate themselves into the team they're working with. And then the third day is based at Park Lane campus, focusing on their English, maths and employability skills. If they've already achieved their grades, then learners will just attend these lessons but maintain the level that they're at. Next slide, Simon. Thank you. So we're currently only taking current Leeds City College students. However, we do ask potential students who are interested in our supported internship programme to complete a course related to their career aspirations, which will then give them that further experience and knowledge before they come onto a supported internship. The courses at Leeds City College cover almost all subject areas, including full-time and part-time academic and vocational qualifications. I will put a link into those courses after I've spoken, so you can have a look at. And as also mentioned, to get onto a supported internship, all learners must have an EHCP and with outcomes relating to work towards paid employment. It is mentioned on the slide that they must be an independent traveller, but while they are studying with us at Leeds City College, we will work with learners to become independent travellers, and we work really closely with the independent traveller team that support us with that. Next slide, Simon, thank you. So benefits to students, so development of learners' confidence in the work setting and work-based skills that are relevant to any role, access to an expert job coach who will support them through that role, personalised support based on learners' individual needs, encouragement and support with progression, especially with the employers who do this really well, and the financial stability and becoming independent once they've gained paid employment at the end of their internship. Next slide, Sarah, thank you. So meet one of our current supported interns. So this is Aidan. So Aidan has progressed from foundation studies at the Joseph Priestley Centre, and he was on the work skills programme. So this year he's been on a supported internship. Aidan started off in administration and a customer service skills role. However, over time, the employer highlighted a key skill Aidan had, which was customer service and being very confident in communicating with lots of different people. So the employer actually acted on this and created a new role for him, which meant he was able to provide social visits to different, lots of different clients that they had, which I think is kind of great for Aidan, and he's really enjoying it. And then there's a bit of feedback as well from Aidan. He really enjoys his administration tasks in the office and visiting lots of different people. Thank you, Simon. And then this is Nathan. So Nathan also is from Foundation Studies at the Joseph Priestley Centre and was on the Work Skills programme. And he progressed onto a supported internship. And Nathan was very clear on his aspirations for the future and that he wanted to work in catering. So what we did is job matched him with a catering role at Civic Enterprise, and he works in the kitchen alongside his mentor and helps prepare food, cleaning down the kitchen areas, and he serves on the tills as well. Nathan's confidence has grown since starting his supported internship. He wasn't used to working in an industrial kitchen, whereas now he absolutely loves working in such a big kitchen. Nathan is looking forward to being employed as it's really important to them, and we're currently looking at securing him employment in the next few months. There are so many fantastic case studies, and I could keep going on, but I think it would be great to show the video that will show this a lot better than I will. Thank you, Simon.
Sorry, thank you. I'll just on mute. Thank you very much, Jess. Really appreciate it. So yeah, we'll just quickly show this video.
In 2023, Leeds pledged to significantly increase the number of supported internships in the city by 2025. Funded by the UK Government's Department of Education and supported by a range of partner agencies, a supported internship is an opportunity for young people aged 16 to 25 with a range of support needs to move into paid employment. Each supported internship includes time at college and time learning to do a job or a range of jobs by working with an employer on site. At college, students study for qualifications and learn employability and social skills.
There's a real socialisation. They're working with other interns and getting to know them, as well as further enrichment and wellbeing programmes that we run.
Job coaches employed by the college are based on the employer's site. They continue to coach the interns and liaise with the employer representatives. In the workplace, the intern is never alone, but supported by a dedicated team. A job coach provides daily one-to-one support. Work buddies offer support on the job, alongside working with other employees in the business, a programme which turns interns into employees.
My role is handling emails and logging emails onto the database and replying to compliments. I'm very experienced working with computers. I've worked with databases, with Excel spreadsheets, with film editing software, with art software, just a whole bunch of stuff.
The job coaches work with the employer coordinators who identify opportunities within their businesses, which interns can then develop skills and training for.
Within the NHS, there are 350 job roles, which gives us a great scope for the possibilities. And we would look to where our vacancies are, where our gaps in staffing are, and look to see what it is that we are missing there. We would look to the interns to see whether or not they have the right skill mix to fill those roles and what we can do to support them into that position.
So as a phlebotomist, it's my job to take the blood from the patient. We then take them into tubes and then we label them, we fill out forms and then we send them off to the labs to be tested. There was one patient that I saw who was quite tricky to get blood out of, and when I was able to take the blood, his wife was over the moon and so was he, and that makes you feel like you've achieved something in the day.
The beauty of John Lewis and the way they work with us and the way we've developed the relationship is there is that flexibility. So whilst he started on the ground floor, he then had the opportunity to move into what we call returns. So that was more in a sort of back of house stock area. But then Matty felt actually, he wanted to do something more. So we looked at what his interests were, and he's a real passion for technology. He loves his tech, he loves his mobile phones, he loves his watches. So we thought, what about consumer electrics in terms of selling? So Matty's been pretty keen on that. So since March, Matty's been working on consumer electrics.
One of the most important aspects of a supported internship is the work buddies.
My role as a work buddy involves just making sure that Joe has everything that he needs to do his job, allocating specific tasks. I support Joe in his day-to-day role as I just look after his needs, make sure that he's got plenty of work to do.
My day-to-day job is filing, and scanning and closing the jobs on the system and putting new jobs on the system.
Before we get him to do anything, we explain everything. We don't just leave it on his desk and say, you know, work it out yourself. One of Joe's strengths is you only have to show him something once and he's capable of getting on with it.
The best thing with a work buddy is like they can help you with if you got a problem, so like if you got difficult with a customer or like with some kind of machine, they will come and help you how to fix the problem, then you know what to do next time.
The supported internship runs from mid-September to mid-July. The aim is that interns will be ready to move into paid employment by the end of the programme. Interns start looking for paid work from Easter, supported by their job coaches and work buddies. They help interns develop their CVs and covering letters, then help interns search and apply for jobs and prepare for the interview. So at the end of the internship programme, many end up securing jobs, but the outcomes are lasting in many more ways.
The differences I see in interns when I support them as a work buddy is their confidence over the weeks grows. Because the confidence is grown, they feel like they've got the ability to do more, so you can give them more.
Being a supported intern has made me more confident and just taught me that I can succeed in the workplace.
Being a part of the phlebotomy team is brilliant. The amount of diversity that is in just one group of people has made me love the NHS even more.
I recommend the internship to friends because you get support along the way and you can get a full-time job or like a part-time job.
100% I would recommend a supported internship. The best thing I've ever done in life. Take this ride. You need to come here.
To find out more about supported internships, email esemployers@leeds.gov.uk.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks for listening, everyone. We do have some questions in the chat, which I'm just looking at now. I'll just field a few of these questions and ask Adele and Katie and Jess if they might answer them. So the first one I've got is, does the combination of internship and college mean this is a 5-day-a-week commitment?
So, it varies. Some of our internships, for some employers, our interns are on their employer site 5 days a week. For others, they're on site 3 days a week. English and maths is delivered at the college for 1 day, and we do another day of or half a day of project that they do, and that wider curriculum around health and well-being, etc. And we also have evening clubs. We've got about 7 evening clubs as well. So I think the minimum is probably 4 days. Would you say, Adele?
Yeah. So because we want the young people to get the most out of that placement, they're on site in an employer at least 3 days, and we still want them to have like the richness of the rest of the curriculum. So minimum 4 days, really.
Okay. And is that similar at the college, Jess?
Yeah, so with our programme, it's 3 days. So it's 2 days in the workplace and 1 day at college.
Okay. All right. Next question. What happens if the young person is not able to read and write? Would that prevent them from doing a supported internship?
No, it's about matching them to the right role. It's about them having the right support. It's about working out how to do things more visually and break things down. We've got technology that we use on a smartwatch and an iPhone. So if a task needs breaking down into maybe 5 or 6 different parts, we use the Apple Watch to break it down, and it can be done in videos or pictures, all words, and that technology really helps. So we've got 50% of our interns are trialing the technology this year, and it's making a massive difference. Anything anyone else wants to add on English and maths and reading and writing?
Yeah, I definitely don't think that's a barrier. It's just about putting that, like Katie said, that right support in to support that young person.
Okay.
I would also say that just because they can't read and write doesn't mean that they still can't learn. So we'd still like to, try and see if we can progress them, because it may just be that school wasn't the right place for them to learn. So we've seen people thrive who've really struggled before. So, yeah.
Okay, there is a question specifically about maths and English. Somebody's asked what happens if my daughter's been trying to do her maths for the last few years and can't pass. With it being 4 days, she may lose time with her support worker that gives her life skills too. So I think this lady's worried about whether maths and not being able to pass maths is an issue.
So we would always work, it's very much on an individual basis. So we'd get to know that young person and family. And, we have young people that have maybe tried for years and years, and sometimes it's been the previous setting or they've not had the right support. So we would always, try and see if there's something we can support with. But equally, a lot of our maths and English is relevant in the workplace, so it links with the life skills as well. So it's more of I suppose it's a conversation with that person, because we wouldn't want them to then miss out on something else because they would try, they're trying to do that. So yeah, individual basis really. I would never say, no, you've got to do this and you've got to do that.
Okay. Anything you want to add, Jess? Or
no, that's covered it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Next one. How does a young person sign up to a supported internship if they've already left education?
So you do need your EHCP. It might still be open depending on when you've left education, and the local authority you might have to correct me on this, but will consider reopening that EHCP for the purposes of participating in a supported internship. So it shouldn't be a barrier. One of the things that might need to be considered are the time it might take to get that EHCP reopened, but I'm sure Simon might be able to work with the people in the council that do that. So
yeah, I mean, I talk from experience here. I have a daughter who has autism, and she actually left education in November now. She has an EHCP. And we've tried to get her in to start a new supported internship with a different organisation. I live in North Yorkshire, so we're looking at somewhere in North Yorkshire. So we were able to get in touch with North Yorkshire County Council, who then reinstated her EHCP. They brought up the old one, refreshed it, working with the new training provider who was delivering the supported internship, and then reinstated it. Now, if you're in Leeds, it would be the SenSAP team within the council that would do that. So it'd just be a question of getting in touch with the SenSAP team, which is part of Leeds City Council. If you're in any doubt about that, just email us on esemployers@leeds.gov.uk. The details are on the flyers, and we'll send you it out after this anyway. And we'll just put you in touch with the SenSAP team. Like Katie says, it might not be an overnight thing. It's taken us best part of 3 months to get my daughter back into a supported internship through North Yorkshire County Council, and I suspect Leeds has got a bit of a backlog as well, so it may not be overnight, but it's definitely possible to do. Okay, moving on. On average, how many hours per week are young people that are employed working?
So in our own, it's about 20 hours a week. Yeah. And then if they're on a particular site that's doing 5 days, it's 30 hours. Yeah.
Do you mean on the internship, or do you mean after?
I think they mean on the
On the
internship.
internship, yeah.
Oh, well, in actual fact, the day.
What I would also say, I don't know if we mentioned it, it's the young people don't do like a 9 till 5. So they tend to start around 9, and the first bit of the day is actually with the job coach and the other interns. And then they go out to departments, and then for us anyway, they finish around 3 o'clock, and the last half hour they go back together with job coach and interns. And we get our young people to do what we call a wellness and work log. So they reflect from the day and talk to each other about the different skills and things they've been doing. And also it means if there's anything that needs to be picked up with the job coach, they can do. So it's a shorter day, if that helps.
Okay. Anything else, Jess?
Yeah, I was just going to say, it also depends for us anyway. It depends on the either the employer or actually the learner. If there's anything stopping a learner getting in for a certain time, then we can be a bit flexible with that as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next question is somebody who wants a little bit of reassurance from yourself, Jess, that Leeds City College will deliver a good experience for their son or daughter. I know the college is a really, really big organisation with hundreds and hundreds of students, so it can be easy to get lost within that environment. So I think it's somebody who's just wanting a little bit of reassurance that the supported internship is a good experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, across college, in each campus, there's a SEND team. So especially before an internship going on to any course, the SEND team are really supportive of all learners. And really do support them through that course, who will then also guide them onto their next steps, whether that is supported internships or a destination that they're wanting to go towards. So we are very supportive.
And I suppose if they had any issues, if anybody wasn't sure, they could just get in touch with you directly, Jess.
Yes, absolutely.
Possible?
Yeah.
And you can talk them through in a little bit more detail and invite them down to see the facilities.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Somebody's asking, which college do you have to go to get on this internship?
Oh, well, there are multiple providers, and there are providers all over the country. And we're Adele and myself are from Lighthouse Futures Trust, and we're an employability SEND college with our main bases in Headingley and employers all over the city. So quite different to Leeds City College, who also offer them. So either, we're both providers. You can join us at any point in your education. You can join us from when you finish another course from somewhere else. You can come straight from special school or straight from mainstream school. You can have any entry point into Lighthouse Futures Trust.
And as an impartial observer, there's only really the two organisations in the city, and they're both here tonight, Leeds City College and Lighthouse Futures Trust. Both organisations are really good. I speak from knowing them for a couple of years now and knowing what they do. So if you're interested in supported internships, you might want to have a chat with both organisations and make your own decisions as to which one you would like to start one with. Somebody's saying, are supported internships paid work?
No, they're not, because they're an education programme. So employers found it hard to get their head around at first. They were like, it doesn't feel right. But the Department for Education say that it's not paid because they are in education still. So that's how it is, and it seems to work well. It doesn't affect benefits either. So if anyone's on universal credit, because it's an education program, they can still continue to access their benefits, etc. But the aim is to land up into paid employment. So yeah. Okay.
My son goes to Swarthmore Adult Education. Are they included? That's probably one for you, Jess.
Swarthmore, they're not currently running supported internships. I know they're looking into it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Who pays for the internship?
The government and Simon.
It's not specifically us, but it's funded through central government, obviously, because the funds go to both the Lighthouse Futures Trust and to Leeds City College. So it's part of their course provision. So it's paid for. You don't pay for it if that's what you're getting at. There's no cost to you apart from the cost of getting your son or daughter to the actual organisation, to the employer's premises, because obviously you would have to get them there. And there's no reimbursement for fees for that. Is that correct?
Unless there's a bursary claim, and I don't know, some students do access transport depending on what's on their EHCP. Yeah.
Okay. Having to be a Leeds City College student. My daughter was a student at Park Lane. She has a BTEC in art. Would she still have to enrol on another course?
If they're not a current student at Leeds City College, obviously at the minute we are only taking current students. So yes, but if they are a current student, then they would need to speak to their SEND contact at the college, or also get in touch with myself, and we can look into that.
Okay. How big are the groups in college?
So for us, our groups when they're at the college site between 8 and 10.
And on an employer site, three young people on one site up to 8, depending on how large the organisation is. So there's a bit of a peer group, but they all have individual roles.
And then, yeah, with us, very similar. Our class sizes, we do keep them small, currently under 10. And then in the employer, again, it depends on the employer, but all students.
Yeah, when my daughter was doing her supported internship, she loved the fact that she went into college for a couple of days and made contact with friends and other students, and the numbers were quite small, which again she appreciated. But she also liked the small numbers involved when she was out at work. So the numbers are quite small, so it's quite reassuring in many ways. A lady here said, my daughter is here and would like to ask a question. She's passionate to work at, I think that's John Lewis, JL. Yes, certainly, by all means, if you'd like to put your microphone on, please fire away with your question. Are you there? No?
We'd happily answer anything if a question wants to go through to Simon after the event. Yeah,
I can pass those on. So it doesn't look like she's there. I think she's saying she's in college in Leeds, but maybe she's not on the call. No. Okay, moving on. There's still a few more questions. How do you apply for one of these apprenticeships? Well, they're not apprenticeships, they're supported internships. They are quite different things. Presumably, if they want to apply, they get in touch with you directly. We can provide contact details if that's okay. Katie, Adele, Jess.
Yeah.
We can put those. We can put those in a link and make sure that you've got those details. And they just apply to you both directly. Is that correct?
They'd contact their caseworker as well and do it through the annual review process for their EHCP and ask for it to be named on their EHCP.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's the same. It's the same for us. Obviously, if you're applying for one of our courses at the college, it needs to go through our website, and that we'll share a link with.
Okay. Somebody's saying, I think as we've received an invite to this session, we can assume from this that the EHCP is still open. No, you can't, I'm afraid. We asked Children's Services for information for anybody with any kind of mention of SEND. So it doesn't mean if you're on this call that you still have an EHCP that is open. You can't assume that, I'm afraid. How would they check that? Would they just get in touch with their council Sensap team, presumably?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So again, we can let you have details of the Sensap team if you just email us on esemployers@leeds.gov.uk. We can put you in touch with the Sensap team. They are quite busy at the moment, so you might not get an immediate reply, but they will come back to you. Is it only term time or is it a full year?
For us, it is term time only.
And that's the same for us.
Yeah.
Except some students want to work in the holidays, and so they are doing. But yeah, generally it's term time only.
Okay. It's interesting because my daughter Alice is starting her internship in April, and she will run her internship from April to the end of March. So it does vary, doesn't it?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Are there any internships for a 16-year-old?
Yeah, if a 16-year-old is ready to go and confident and has the right skills to do an internship, then yes, absolutely. I'm not sure how many we've had of that age, Adele.
Not at 16. We've had some at 17. Just because sometimes at 16 they've not often had any experience of work or even like really introducing to like employers. So quite a number of our 16-year-olds tend to do our pre-internship programs first. But that's not to say, like Katie said, if somebody was really keen and felt ready to move into that employer, then we could support.
Okay, well, it's 7:30 now, so we've got a couple left if we're really quick. Are there any open days?
Yes. For the college, we have open days across the year.
Are they advertised on your website, Jess?
Yes.
Okay, so you just log on to Leeds City College website and they should be listed on there. What about yourself, Adele?
So we've had some open days. We're a lot smaller than the college, but we can do more like bespoke visits. So if anybody was interested, they can just contact us directly, and we can arrange that.
Okay, and as I said, I'll make sure everybody gets the contact details for that. And last question. What happens after the internship if the young person isn't offered employment? Do they have to leave education or can they do another internship?
So for us, oh, sorry, Katie.
They're over to you.
I was going to say for us, as we said in our program, we kind of we have an employability job coach as well. So they work alongside all of our interns, and if for whatever reason the young person doesn't move into the host business or another employer, they pick that up. So we have that follow-on support for our young people. So it's a kind of a further supported program. It's not another internship, but it's more bespoke support around finding that employment.
Okay.
And just quickly for us, very similar. We're working with lots of different organisations for that support after their internship, but we have a great apprenticeship scheme which we can direct students to as well, so they could go on an apprenticeship afterwards.
Okay, thank you very much indeed to our speakers, Jess, Adele and Katie. We have run out of time. It's 7:30. Happy to stay on if anybody has any other questions that they'd like to ask. If so, just turn your microphones on and please ask. If not, we'll call it a close there, and we'll say thank you for coming along and listening to us. We will put everything into an email, so if you registered through the universe system, we've got your email addresses. We'll drop in a link to the recording. We'll put in details of both the Lighthouse Futures Trust and of Leeds City College contacts, so you can get in touch if you're interested. And one last plug, there is an event coming up in June at the Leeds First Direct Arena. It's called Send Next Choices. You should get an invitation through the post in the not too distant future. But if you go onto the Arena website, it's listed on the Leeds First Direct Arena website. It's a really useful event. It's designed specifically to provide information to help young people make next step choices about what they're going to do for jobs and careers. And there's a whole host of organisations there, employers, training providers, colleges, supported internships, DWP will be there, Universal Credit, travel training. There's all sorts of people there. So it's definitely a good event to go along to. And that's the 25th of June at the Leeds First Direct Arena. So thank you very much for listening. Are there any last minute questions, burning questions that people have got? If not, we'll call it a day. No. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank
Goodbye.
you. Thank you.
Bye.